What mysteries are hidden in the depths of our planet's oceans and seas? The answer is more intriguing than you might think, as countless strange and astonishing things lurk beneath the waves, many of which have fascinated and unsettled explorers for years. With that in mind, here are 20 deep-sea discoveries that are sure to send chills down your spine. Number 20. Adam's Bridge. One of the most classic debates you'll find when it comes to certain underwater structures is that of, is it man-made or is it natural? I mean, seriously, when certain things have been found underwater and they look a certain way, that question pops up quite a bit, and the case of Adam's Bridge in Sri Lanka is another example of that. The bridge is a chain of natural mineral shoals between Pambam Island in India and Manna Island in Sri Lanka. As you can see, it's quite the bridge, and as a result of its location, size, and composition, people have dubbed it many things over the years, which includes being a landmark and a key place of native mythology. But where the mystery comes in is whether the bridge is truly a natural entity or whether it was made by the ancient peoples of the area. As a result, there have been many studies trying to figure out the truth of the matter. There are many factors on both sides that one would have to consider for this, which includes how that bridge is 50 kilometers long. So you would think that this would lean towards it being a natural structure, except that we know that humanity has built things that long and complex in the past. Another thing to note is that this area has been heavily affected by the natural development of the world. And by that, I mean that it's been speculated that this so-called land bridge was much bigger and connected Sri Lanka to India before things had shrunk it down. The mystery around the place is so popular that the people even decided to make a movie about it with the main character trying to figure out if it was man-made or natural. Things like life imitating art. Number 19. Milky Seas effect. Have you ever gone out on a coastline and then at night you see that there's something different going on in the water? As in, it doesn't really look like the basic blue as it often does, and instead it just seems to be glowing? Or when the water crashes into the shoreline, it appears to shine brightly before fading away back into its main body. This is known as the Milky Seas effect, and it's something that has been happening in the world's waters for generations, with many people having so-called answers as to what may be causing it. The good news is that science did eventually win out, and we know what's causing it now. It's actually the water itself, or more accurately, the water inside of the water. You see, there are all sorts of creatures of microscopic sizes within the waters of the world, and some of them have a trait that is known as bioluminescence. This ability helps them to glow, and many use it to deter predators. The twist is that sometimes this is activated when agitated by something going through the water or the water hitting something else, like a boat sailing through a patch of these entities or waves crashing up on the shore. That's when they light up and they'll fade back to how they were before. So, if you do happen to see this phenomenon, consider yourself fortunate and enjoy it, because it is a beautiful sight. Number 18. Julia Sound. There are many mysteries within the deep that seem to defy logic, like that of the hot tub that I just talked about. One of the more curious mysteries that has ever emerged from the depths is that of a sound, or technically multiple sounds, but I'll focus on one called the Julia Sound. For the record, yes, sound does travel through water, and there are plenty of sea creatures such as the whale who will send out sounds through the water and can be heard far and wide. But the Julia Sound, as it was called, was not from any whale, or even a sea creature that's known. What happened on March 1, 1999, the sound blasted through the ocean and was picked up by the entire Equatorial Pacific Ocean Autonomous Hydrophone Array. If you don't know, that's a special array with a really super long complicated name that's used to monitor the ocean and detect odd sounds just like this one. Depending on who you talk to, that sound lasted for about 15 seconds to well over 2 minutes, and no matter the time period, it was loud, and that sound had to carry pretty far if it was to reach the entire array. And that's where the mystery comes in, because nobody really knows what made that sound. Officially, the team at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration claimed that the sound was that of an iceberg running aground, in an interesting origin, but one that raises more questions than answers. Another oddity of this mystery is that despite hearing the sound across the entire Pacific Ocean array, we don't know where the exact origin was. You would think that an iceberg running aground would help narrow down that origin point, but it didn't. As a result, there are some who dispute this claim and think that might have been something else. Number 17. Cannibal Shark. When it comes to sharks, there are many misconceptions about them that have filled humanity's minds with lies, half-truths, and complete falsehoods about how dangerous they are to humanity. Yes, shark attacks happen every year, but not as often as you may think. But what did surprise some scientists was when they found out that one of the great white sharks they tagged with a locator chip had gone missing, and then they found that chip again and it was inside of another shark. Yes, it seems that a shark had eaten another shark. More specifically, a great white shark ate another great white shark. And that's not exactly something you hear every day. Now, naturally, the question would be, why would a shark eat one of its own? The answer is that it may have been a case of circumstances. In this case, the smaller great white attacked the bigger one, or the bigger one may have felt provoked by the smaller one, and then things just kind of went down. Another thing to be noted here is that this is not the first time that a shark has been accused of being a cannibal, as their ancient ancestor, the megalodon, was said to eat its own kind if it was hungry enough. Ironically, that led to its extinction, and many wonder if great whites could actually follow in this path if the trend continues. Number 16. Yanaguni Monument. When I first told you about the debate of man-made underwater structures versus naturally occurring structures, I first pictured the Yanaguni Monument. Arguably, this is one of the greatest debates that's gone on with this particular topic. This would be found in 1987 by a diver, and when he reported it, geologists and scientists ascended onto the area to see what had truly been discovered, and their answers would differ heavily from one another. Many had believed that because of the artificial look of some of the places in the monument, that it had to be made by hand, while others countered saying that these specific patterns and angles could be replicated by nature over time. While many are leaning more towards it being a natural occurrence, others are still fighting back saying that it's really not that simple. This unique rock formation was located off the coast of Yanaguni Island in Japan. It's comprised of massive stone structures, including terraces, steps, and columns, and if that man-made structure idea is really true, it might be dated back thousands of years. Those who err on the side of it being a natural occurrence would say that it was caused by things like underwater erosion and tectonic activity, and they argue that symmetry and alignment of the rocks could be coincidental rather than an intentional construction. Whether it is a natural wonder or an ancient artifact, the monument continues to baffle people worldwide. Now it's time for today's topic. A team of deep-sea divers exploring an uncharted trench in the Pacific Ocean has captured footage of a creature that has left scientists and the public stunned. The creature, massive and unlike anything seen before, has a strange, almost alien appearance. Its body structure and features don't match any known marine species, sparking speculation that it could be a relic from a prehistoric era. The divers, conducting a routine survey of the ocean floor, were shocked when the creature appeared out of the darkness, moving slowly but with an intimidating presence. Its size alone was enough to send chills down their spines, and its unusual features have left experts struggling to classify it. This doesn't resemble any modern sea creature, one marine biologist stated. It's as if it belongs to a completely different time. The footage has ignited debates worldwide. Some believe it could be a surviving species from millions of years ago, while others suggest it might be an entirely new discovery from the unexplored depths of the ocean. For now, the creature remains a mystery, a haunting reminder of how little we truly know about the vast, uncharted waters of our planet. Number 15. Gulf of Mexico Shipwrecks. Now, it may seem a little on the nose to start out with shipwrecks, but in truth, there are few better places to begin when it comes to deep-sea mysteries due to how shipwrecks can happen for all sorts of reasons. And no, I'm not talking about the Bermuda Triangle, not just yet, but the Gulf of Mexico is near that infamous plot of water, and it's had more than its fair share of shipwrecks over the years. According to some official sources, there could be over 4,000 shipwrecks in those waters, and that means there are a lot of items that can be studied for historical context and just to see what's down there in the first place. One of the most intriguing parts about the ventures to find these ships is that they've been found in some of the most shallow and deep parts of the Gulf. The ones that are most intriguing are the ones that were found in the deepest areas of this place. Now, how deep am I talking? How about over 2,000 meters below the surface? These are the places that are so deep that specialized craft with sonar technology had to be used in order to find the shipwrecks. At present, over 600 ships have been found in these depths, and as to where the mystery is in all of this, the question is why so many have sunk in this body of water in the first place. Plus, there's the obvious ones of what were these vessels that sunk and why did they sink and what did they leave behind for us to look at. Like I said, there's no better way to begin this list than talking about these shipwrecks. Number 14. Gulf of Combat Ruins. Now, we've done plenty of small-scale mysteries that may or may not have freaked you out, but something that has happened in several places all over the world that have definitely freaked people out in the past are the discovery of ancient civilizations residing in the waters just off the coast and people not realizing it until they accidentally stumbled upon it. For example, in India, back in 2000 off the Gulf of Combat, some ruins were found when some people were doing, and I kid you not, pollution studies. Yes, really, they were doing sonar testing when they found the ruins of an ancient city. The twist is that while it was 20 kilometers off the coast, the depth of the city was only 30 meters deep, which would imply that the waters of the area were much lower at one point in time and that things eventually rose to consume the area. That wasn't the only surprise. They found regularly spaced dwellings, a granary, a bath, a citadel, and a drainage system, which means that the city was rather advanced for its age. They also found a whole lot of tools, bones, teeth, and more. Oh, and I'm still not done, as one piece of wood was dated to be nearly 10,000 years old, which would be before the oldest known civilizations in India. So there are plenty of mysteries to unpack with that, and they're still trying to learn everything they can. Number 13. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. Now, Here's a classic deep-sea mystery that not only has never been answered, but continues to cause a lot of people to scratch their heads as to what the thing is or isn't. Long story short, a set of divers went into the Baltic Sea to look for treasure, and when they took a scan of the area, they then found a formation that was unlike anything they had seen before. Specifically, they found what looked to be a man-made structure, and yet it seemed to be a natural part of the seafloor. Ever since then, people have speculated about its origins. Claims that it shorts out electrical equipment have come out many times over, and just as important, people note how oddly similar that it looks to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. So what's really the truth? Well, nobody has any idea. There's a lot of debate going on about this, and there are no definitive answers that have been given. So until there's a true deep dive into what the origins of this anomaly are, we'll just have to wait here and speculate. Number 12. Leptophilis. We're going to get a little vague with this next one, mainly because there aren't really any kind of significant records of this creature. Seriously, we had to look at the Guinness Book of World Records just to learn about the thing. And that says something. This thing is also known as the short-tailed eel. It's a very special creature that has only been found a handful of times, and they have been much bigger than other members of their family. It was found to be 1.9 meters long, which is why it was in the Guinness Book, and the problem is that they've never been found in large numbers, nor in their adult form. So there are questions about how big they can actually get. In all the creatures of the ocean, it is not surprising that one such as this is mystifying people. That's because its appearance resembles a small leaf-shaped organism with a transparent body. It does only measure usually a few centimeters in length, and they're often difficult to spot in their natural marine habitat. These things are typically found out in the open ocean and along coastal habitats, or they just drift along with the ocean current, kind of like the bombs of the ocean. Number 11. Hot tub of despair. Now we're in the Gulf of Mexico, where there is an area that is so poisonous to people and animals that it's actually called the hot tub of despair. But what could make it so poisonous that nobody would want to go near it? Well, that would be because the bubbles that are in this area are full of methane and hydrogen sulfide, and the water is 5 times saltier than what you would get in the rest of the Gulf. But what you get is not really a hot and soothing bath, but a murky brine of salt and chemicals that will make any animal keel over and wish that they had never stumbled upon this murky mess of a place. As for how this hot tub of despair happened, the Gulf was once a more shallow and saltier place, but eventually that salt was brought down to the water's floor and buried. But the pressures of the earth below didn't stay that way, and as a result, the salt began to pop up alongside other gases and the despair began to flow. In a way, the only real mystery is how many more places like this are out there in the world, and we don't have an urge to find out. I prefer a regular hot tub over this one. Number 10. ANC Ruins. I've already shown you that there are many ruins in the depths of the world's waters, and some of them come from kingdoms and civilizations that existed long ago. So it should not be all that much of a surprise that some have been found in the waters off of Greece. The ANC Ruins were a source of great wonder when they were first discovered, and after being uncovered, it was found that the ruins they unearthed were that of the lost city of Cain. Cain was a small but important trade city in the ancient times between the Black Sea and the coast of modern-day Turkey. It was a key trade city for Greece, and some speculate that the land bridge connected the island to the mainland. There were even key battles and wars that were fought near the place, but the question remains, how exactly did it sink to the depths? The most logical answer is that it was a natural disaster, which had sunk many cities over the ages, but we will likely never know for sure. Number 9. The Ruins of Dvarka. Now we're heading to the Arabian Sea, where this time we're going to talk about the Ruins of Dvarka, which is what many people are seeking in that area because of the legends that surround this ancient civilization. That's right, it's a reversal here. This is the case of people believing an ancient civilization existed and then sunk, but they just haven't found it yet. Some divers have reported glimpses of stone structures beneath the waves, their shapes hinting at roads, walls, and even steps. Local fishermen share tales passed down through generations, describing strange shadows on the seafloor and mysterious relics caught in their nets. Underwater archaeologists have mapped out sections of the seabed, hoping to piece together the puzzle from scattered ruins. The excitement grows with every new discovery, fueling both hope and skepticism. Not that this has stopped them from trying to find it, mind you. There have been many who have gone to the Arabian Sea and have found some pretty interesting artifacts that have been said to connect to the lost city. However, those findings are in dispute for various reasons. So will they ever find this lost city and be able to prove its existence? Like everything else, only time will tell. Number 8. Underwater crop circles. Believe it or not, crop circles are not something that only happens on the land. It's been well documented and questioned about for many years where they take place underwater. As you can see, something or someone was going into the depths and making rather beautiful circles in the sand and the ground. Divers who first stumbled upon these formations were baffled, suspecting everything from underwater currents to secretive sea creatures. Some even speculated about alien involvement, given the geometric precision and mysterious appearance. The circles would appear overnight, untouched by human hands, and vanish just as quickly with the shifting tides. Marine biologists set up cameras, determined to solve the riddle once and for all. It's clearly too intricate to be something that the ocean made over time, especially since it kept popping up all over the place. So that leaves the question, what actually has caused this? The answer would be the pufferfish. It was found out that there's a type of pufferfish that does this as a sort of mating ritual. Males laboriously flap their fins as they swim along the seafloor, and that results in disrupted sediment and amazing circular patterns. It's impressive not only because of the detail, but because these patterns are sometimes over 2 meters in diameter. So I guess you can say that life and love just finds a way. Number 7. Barrel eye fish. How about another weird fish story, where this time we're talking about easily one of the weirdest fish you may ever see, the barrel eye fish. Why is this creature so unique? It's because it has a partially transparent head, yes, partially, as you can see into its skull to see its eyes and other organs. When researchers first captured footage of the barrel eye fish, they were stunned by the way its tubular eyes could rotate inside its head, giving it a nearly panoramic view of its surroundings. The fish's glowing green lenses help filter out sunlight from above, allowing it to spot the faint silhouettes of prey or predators. Its delicate, jelly-like body is perfectly adapted for drifting in the deep, motionless as it waits for food to pass by. The sight of this fish gliding through the darkness is both mesmerizing and a little unsettling, as if it belongs in a science fiction movie. So naturally, when it was found, many had wondered what would cause such a creature to evolve into this. One of the answers was because it lived in the midnight zone. That's where the light is non-existent, and creatures had to evolve to see in their own ways, and the barrel eye fish did that by allowing its head to look upward so that it could see the predators that were within its gaze. And that made itself so much more observant to stay alive. Number 6. Lake Michigan Stonehenge. It really should not surprise you at all that there are multiple Stonehenges around the world. Most of them are natural and others are man-made, and some of them pop up in places that you may not expect, like Lake Michigan. The structure itself is shrouded in mystery, not the least of which is the depth of the stones that were found. Divers who have visited the site describe an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of their own bubbles as they swim among the ancient stones. Some even claim to have seen carvings on the rocks, including what looks like a petroglyph of a mastodon, which only deepens the enigma. The arrangement of the stones is so precise that it suggests a purpose, perhaps ceremonial or astronomical, much like its famous counterpart in England. Yet, the cold, dark waters of the lake keep many secrets, making thorough exploration a real challenge. Plus, they are 9,000 years old if the dating of the rocks is to be believed, and that would actually make them older than the actual Stonehenge that we know about in England. Another mystery is who really built this unique monument. It was clearly constructed, and so it didn't have a natural occurrence. Most would agree that the native peoples of the area may have well constructed it, but then how did it sink to become part of a now popular lake? Given all of the stuff we've found in the water so far, just how much more can the world be hiding in the depths of the waters? That's a mystery that may well never be solved. Number 5. Cuban Underwater City. Now we have another underwater city for you to enjoy, and this one is off the coast of Cuba. It's also one that caused quite the stir when it was found. It would be found rather by accident by a government survey, and once the structures that were in the city were discovered, all sorts of debates then took place, including one about it being part of Atlantis. Sonar images revealed what looked like massive stone blocks and geometric patterns, sparking wild theories about ancient builders. Some explorers even claimed to see what resembled pyramids and roads, deepening the intrigue. The site quickly attracted attention from both scientists and treasure hunters, each hoping to uncover evidence of a forgotten culture. Despite several expeditions, the true nature of the site remains elusive, with every new discovery adding another layer to the mystery. It wasn't, obviously, but the dream does live on. Given the time frame, it would have needed to sink to the depths it was found at. Many feel that it wasn't a real city at all, but just another example of how natural erosion shapes things to seem familiar. Others are adamant that this was actually part of a lost civilization, and so the battle and debate continues to rage on. Number 4. The Antithyr Mechanism. When it comes to mysterious devices and artifacts that are found beneath the waves that people are puzzled by, the Antithyr Mechanism is easily one of the most confounding. It was found in a shipwreck off of Greece and appears to be the world's first analog computer. And I mean that literally, as the device was to have information put into it by the ship's crew, and they would get back data on all kinds of things like eclipses, the positioning of stars, and more. When researchers first examined its intricate gears and dials, they were stunned by the level of craftsmanship, which rivaled clockwork technology that would not appear again for over 1,000 years. X-ray scans revealed dozens of interlocking bronze gears, each precisely cut and arranged to perform complex calculations. Some of the inscriptions on the device are still being deciphered, hinting at even more functions than originally thought. The more scientists learn about it, the more it seems to challenge our understanding of ancient technology. The mystery is exactly how the Greeks were able not only to make the thing, but to make it so accurate. It could give you answers that were well beyond the lives of those on the ships, and yet nobody has a clue what led them to create it, or how they got it to be so finely tuned. Number 3. The Biminy Road. Here's another classic example of people debating whether something was man-made or not. The Biminy Road is located just off the coast of the Bahamas, and it looks like a cobbled road that stretches about 450 meters. When it was found in 1968, there would be speculation that another lost civilization had been found, as this road was anything but basic or something that you find a lot within the water. Divers who have explored the site often describe the experience as surreal, with the massive stone blocks forming a path that seems to invite exploration. Some have even reported finding what appear to be right angles and regular patterns, fueling theories that ancient engineers may have played a role. Others point to the way the stones are fitted together, noting that the gaps between them are surprisingly uniform for a natural formation. The mystery has attracted everyone from archaeologists to treasure hunters, each hoping to uncover the true story behind the Biminy Road. But there are many who have noted that while it may look like a paved road, it could just as easily be something that nature had cooked up over time, especially when looking at the blocks that make up the road. Some believe it could still be something tied to an ancient culture, and some have even said it may be tied to Atlantis. But science seems to point in another direction. Take a look for yourself and see what answers you come up with. Number 2. Deep Sea Purple Blob. How's that for a title to end things? Found in 2016 off of the Channel Islands near California, divers were able to get a video of a weird purple blob that had no issues going around the water that it was in. Now, as you can tell by its shape, it is a blob that was almost crystalline in its figure. Its shimmering surface seemed to catch the light in a way that made it look almost otherworldly, and some divers even joked that it looked like a living gemstone. The blob moved with a slow, mesmerizing grace, pulsing gently as it drifted along the ocean floor. For a moment, it even seemed to react to the diver's presence, curling slightly as if it was aware of being watched. The discovery sparked a wave of excitement among marine biologists, who were eager to study its unusual coloration and behavior. They were able to grab the creature, and after a quick look, they felt that they had found a unique version of a sea slug. While that is kind of cool, it did not solve all of the mysteries, which includes how it was purple, which is an unnatural sea color for these kinds of creatures, and how it developed to be such a unique form. Number 1. Giant and colossal squids. Now let's go back to creatures of the deep, shall we? While we know many of what lives in the deepest depths of the ocean, we don't exactly know how they live down there. And the best example of this are the giant and colossal squids. These elusive giants have inspired countless tales among sailors, who often describe them as monsters capable of dragging entire ships beneath the waves. Their eyes are the largest of any animal on Earth, perfectly adapted to the pitch-black darkness of their habitat. Some researchers believe that the scars found on sperm whales are evidence of epic underwater battles between these squids and their only known predator. Despite these dramatic encounters, direct observation of their behavior remains incredibly rare. They are the largest invertebrates in the world and are part of the reason that we have legends of the kraken and other sea monsters. But despite us knowing lots about them, scientists had no idea for a long time how they survived in the deep depths of the ocean, or how they lived their lives at all. Case in point, the giant squid was not caught on camera underwater until 2004, and then not on video until 2016. As for the colossal squid, it continues to evade scientists, which only enhances the mystery about what it is and how it exists. That wraps up our journey into the depths and the countless mysteries hidden beneath the waves. The discoveries made by divers in these underwater realms are truly astonishing, and some of them genuinely took me by surprise. Out of everything uncovered, there are a few mysteries and artifacts that stand out as especially intriguing. Some might even pave the way for future discoveries. If you have thoughts on which find amazed you the most, or if you think one of these could lead to something even bigger, feel free to share your ideas in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the other fascinating content appearing on your screen, and I'll catch you in the next adventure.